Listen closely. It's story time. Let me tell you a story about a man called Obiora. Big, strong Obiora. The kind of man who walked around the village surroundings like he owned the ground beneath him. By the time I'm done with this story, you will fall to your feet in laughter because this same Obiora who made everyone afraid, he would soon become the most mocked husband in the entire village. Okay, let me begin. Obiora married his first elegant wife, Adaobi, when he was 29 years old. On the day of their wedding day, everybody clapped and rejoiced. Obiora smiled like a man who had won the 50 million bet. Adaobi was beautiful and respectful. Her parents trained her very well. She could clean, she could cook, and she never talked back to her elders. Obiora's chest ensouled with pride. Finally, he brought a woman who would obey him without arguments. But that smile on Obiora's face, it disappeared faster than free pamoye at the village gathering. One precious afternoon, Amara served him his lunch. The soup was warm, the fufu was soft, everything was perfect. But Obiora tasted it and his face squeezed up like he had eaten vinegar. Adaobi, this soup is cold, cold like ice. Are you trying to poison me? Poor Adaobi, hands and legs started shaking. I'm sorry, my husband. Let me go warm it for you now. Warm it? You should have brought it hot from the beginning. Do I look like a man who eats cold food? Eh? Am I a helpless beggar? Now let me tell you something. The soup was not cold at all. It was just not boiling hot. But Obiora liked to find problems where there were none. If the food was too hot, he would complain. Too cold, he would complain. Just right, he would still find something to murmur about. Maybe the plate was filthy, maybe she saved it with her left hand, maybe the sun was not shining bright enough. Anything, everything. That afternoon, he slapped Adaobi for the first time. Just like that. Her offense, cold soup that was not even cold. Adaobi wept quietly in the corner, while Obiora ate his lunch and belched loudly, satisfied. This became the pattern of their marriage. Obiora would find a reason, any reason to raise his big hands on her. The other villagers heard Adaobi's cries at night, but they turned their faces away. It's between husband and wife. We cannot interfere in people's marriages. The village women would see Adaobi at the stream with bruises on her arms, and they would shake their heads and whisper, but nobody did anything. Not her parents, not the elders, not her relatives, nobody. They all believed that a husband had the right to discipline his wife however he wanted. For 7 long years, Adaobi suffered. She became thin like a broomstick. Her eyes lost their shine. She stopped laughing. She stopped talking. She just existed, moving through life like a ghost. Every day she woke up, cooked, cleaned, and hoped that maybe today Obiora would be in a good mood. But good moods were rare in Obiora's house. Then one night, after Obiora had beaten her particularly badly, Adaobi went to sleep and never woke up. Just like that, her body simply gave up. The village herbalist examined her body and shook his head sadly. Her spirit left, he said. She was tired of the pain and suffering. Now you would think that Obiora would feel guilty. Right? Wrong. This man cried at the funeral like he had lost the love of his life, tears rolling down his cheeks like never before. The ignorant villagers who didn't know the truth felt sorry for him. Poor Obiora, he loved his wife so much. If only they knew. Obiora buried Adaobi and observed the mourning period, but in his mind, he was already planning. He waited exactly 3 months, then he began looking for a second wife. This time he told himself he would be more clinical. He would find a woman from far away, someone who had not heard the stories about Adaobi, his first wife. He traveled to a neighboring village, and that's where he found Nneka. With her smooth skin and gentle smile, she was 20 years old, fresh, innocent looking, with eyes that stayed on the ground when men spoke to her. Perfect. Obiora thought, this one will give me no problems. Nneka's father was a poor fisherman who was happy to receive Obiora's bride price. My daughter is very obedient, he told Obiora, proudly. She never argues, never raises her voice. She will make you a good wife. Obiora smiled. Excellent, he thought. Another quiet one. The wedding was small and simple. Nneka moved into Obiora's house with her few belongings, and from day one, she was the perfect wife. She woke up before dawn to prepare breakfast. The house was always clean. His clothes were always washed and ironed. When he spoke, she listened with her head bowed. When he shouted, she trembled and got frightened. One fateful morning, Obiora was looking his favorite shirt he adores and loves wearing to go out. Reaching to his wardrobe, the shirt was unclean. Obiora shouted the name of Nneka. Nneka! She rushed down to where he was and was pleading with him to forgive that she totally forgot to wash that particular shirt. But he refused. He raised his hands against Nneka, but she held his hands and twisted it to his back as he knelt down, pleading with her to release him. She said, "Do you really think I'm a weak woman you can turn into your punching bag?" Obiora was screaming as he pleaded with her with tears. Neighbors heard his voice and laughed at him. Look at him, very shameless man who can't even control his own home. Obiora was very ashamed of himself. From that very day, he turned into a slave to Nneka, washing her clothes and cleaning the house. Anything that was commanded of him by Nneka, he did it. One day, as he went to the market to get some foodstuffs, some men saw him and asked surprisingly, "Obiora, shouldn't your wife be doing this? Why are you doing it?" Obiora raised his head down in shame as he carried the foodstuffs to his house. Obiora's suffering continued day by day because he could not defeat the woman. Her hand was as sharp as iron. One fateful day, as Obiora finished eating and could not wash the dish, she came to the kitchen and saw the dirty plates and shouted, "Obiora!" As he rushed to meet her saying, "What's the problem, Nneka?" She asked him why he has not washed his plates, but he gathered courage to stand up and said, "Who are you talking to like that, woman?" As he tried to raise his hands on her, she carried a boiling water and poured it on him as half of his arm peeled. He shouted in pain as he was rushed to the herbalist where he was treated with tears. On getting home with bandage, little children saw him and laughed, saying, "Mr. Huge Man." They laughed and ran away.
Mr. Obiora was walking home in regrets and tears, saying to himself, "I should have not treated Adaobi the way I treated her." He said, but it was too late because their tradition states you cannot marry another wife unless your former wife is dead. To make all matters worse, Nneka became the breadwinner because Obiora lost everything he had. She opened a trade and was the one providing for the both of them. But she kept on maltreating Obiora cause she was the one in charge. Sometimes at night, she grabs the bed to herself while she leaves the mat for Obiora. One fateful morning, an old woman questioned Nneka about the way she was maltreating Obiora. But she replied, "Mama, someone has to stand up for Adaobi and for any defenseless woman out there that the husbands use as punching bags. That's why I'm treating Obiora like this," Nneka replied. The old woman agreed with her. As the day goes by, Nneka maltreated Obiora more. Even when he called his kingsmen to resolve the issue, they said it's marriage, it's for better and for worse, till death do you both part. Obiora kept living with the pain he had in his heart. One day he said to himself, "What's the meaning of life if I'm in this condition? I better kill myself." He went to a tree and hung himself and died. This is a very big lesson to all abusive husbands. Please do not fall victim of this. Treat your spouses with care and love and always respect each other so you don't end up like Obiora. If you learned something from this story or you are passing through the same fate Adaobi passed through, click the subscribe button now and also turn on the notification bell to always be updated on my stories. And don't forget to write your most interesting part of this story. See you next time.